Well, hello everybody. Johnny Hiland here in Franklin, Tennessee at Studio 19, here on behalf of Destroy All Guitars and Fat Jimmy Amplifiers. Well, today, folks, we're going to be taking a look at the Gigmaster, or otherwise known as the Gigmaster 35. Guys, this amp is in a small little unit, combo amp. It's actually really cute, but it packs a punch, and it'll knock you on your tail, I promise you. So, before we get going and talk about this bad boy, I've just got to play it some. Check it out. Guys, this amp is actually another one of my favorite Fat Jimmy amps. Why? Because it's not quite a little 20 watter and it's not quite as big as a 50 watter. But guys, this is a little 6L6 loaded 35 watt little beast is what it is. And of course it actually comes loaded with a Fat Jimmy speaker. It's a ceramic speaker. I believe it's the C1270. Pretty awesome. And now, let's go through the knob layout and see what this baby's made of, all right? So starting out, we got our input jack, of course, 1 and 2. Then we have a bright switch, and then we have our volume knob, treble, bass, reverb, and then we have speed and depth for the vibrato, which is killer in this amp. And then we have the famous Jimmy knob, and the Jimmy knob is just awesome, guys. That's what gives Fat Jimmy amps a lot of their girth and bite and volume, So I think the first thing I'm going to do is show you how the Jimmy knob affects the tone of this amp. If we go all the way back on the Jimmy knob, right? It sounds like a common kind of Fender amp. Now I would say, guys, that wattage-wise, this is what I would call a super reverb eater, because it would eat a super reverb, even at 35 watts. So, and a super reverb is normally around 40. But this little guy right here is definitely a lot smaller package, and it just gives you that straight up the face kind of punch. So what I'm going to do now is I've got the Fat Jimmy knob completely off. Excuse me, and we're in actual Fender mode right here. So sounds pretty doggone good right there, guys. But let's move it up, the Jimmy knob up now to 10 o'clock. Here we go. Now see, I can automatically feel a responsive difference in the bass response. You know, it's funny, it makes you do those guitar faces. We got your mouth going and everything else. Now let's turn it up to about 1 o'clock now. Make sure I'm getting it there. There we go. All right, check this out, guys. You can already feel, I don't know if you guys can hear, but the feel is incredible. It's getting bigger. It's just grabbing right a hold of me as a player. It's just awesome. I got to play a little more with that. just to feel that bass response is just awesome, truly. Now, you know what? I'm going to crank it all the way, guys. Here's the Jimmy knob full up. Now, it did give the amp a whole different feel and a whole different vibe, guys. That's pretty awesome. So now, one thing we need to mention in the chicken picking realm, while we got some single coils in the Johnny Hiland JH6 Kiesel guitar, one thing we need to do is talk about the vibrato in this amp. Now, if you're a big fan of Marty Stewart, like I am, you definitely want an amp with vibrato in it. So this right here, guys, is about where I would set my vibrato for a Marty Stewart style chicken picking thing. Now, what I've done, guys, is kept it pretty loose, but trust me, you can really tighten up the depth of this vibrato in this amp. Check it out, guys. You can really make it almost like it's just punching you. That is just awesome. Well, I'm going to actually talk to you a little bit more about that later, but I'll tell you what, guys, I love this amp so much, and I'm going to do just a little bit more chicken picking with this bad boy, and when I get done with that, we'll switch over to humbuckers. How's that? So let me do just a little more chicken picking for you. Man, I love this amp. Well, there, now I've had my chicken picking fix. Now let me grab a beautiful Kiesel guitar and let's do some humbucker sounds. We'll be right back. All right, folks, now I've grabbed my beautiful Kiesel SH550, kind of a jazz box like a Gretsch style guitar, but it's got beryllium pickups made by the great folks at Kiesel. Killer humbuckers, guys. So let's play a little bit of blues. What I've got going here is the reverb from the amp and my analog alien bucket seat dirt box here. Let's check out the tone. Well guys, as you can hear, this thing sounds amazing with a dirt pedal and a humbucker guitar. But what I've done though guys is roll the volume back on this guitar to do that little blues thing I just played. So what I'm going to do is bring the volume pedal down, or volume knob on the amp down, excuse me. And I'm going to shut the dirt box off. And now I'm going to kick it back on here and show you what it sounds like at full bore with humbuckers. So here's full-on humbucker mode. Can't get over the sustain in this amp, guys. It's truly incredible. No compressors going at all. The only thing I have on for a pedal is the analog alien bucket seat. But now what I'd like to do, you've heard this full bore with a dirt pedal. What I'd like to do now is see if I'm going to kick off the dirt pedal and see if I can roll the volume up some, add more of the Jimmy knob, and see if we can create that same kind of sound cranking this amp up. Let's hear it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, again, turn the volume a little bit more, crank the Jimmy just a touch more. Woo, I've never run an amp this hot before. Actually, I'm going to try bringing the Jimmy back a little. Boy, that is incredible, guys. I can't believe it. It actually sounds just as good as my dirt box, but cranking the amp almost all the way. You know, I think Brother Mike Pascal made a winner in this amp, guys. So now what I'm going to do is turn the verb up some. Crank the Jimmy knob up more now. Now what I'm going to do is kick on a little bit of slap delay and play something like. Wow, guys, the vibrato in this amp is sensational. Well, look, for a 35-watt amp, you really cannot beat the versatility of this Fat Jimmy Gigmaster 35. Guys, this amp is truly a winner. So now that we've talked about the vibrato, can I actually have a little fun doing some chet picking? I got the verb where I like it, it feels good, and I just have to do this, guys. Well, folks, thank you for indulging me and letting me do that. This little amp is just so brilliant. But one thing I have to do is tell you that right underneath this Gigmaster 35, we have its little brother, the Gigmaster 20. Now guys, I know we actually talked about the Jimmy Jr. before, and they make an amp called the Jimmy Jr., and now they make the Gigmaster 20. One is actually on steroids from a Fender Style Deluxe, and the other is just under. But I can tell you this, same kind of tone from the Gigmaster 35 to the Gigmaster 20. You're just losing a little bit of wattage, that's all. Guys, you cannot beat either one of these amps. The Gigmaster 20 if you like the lower wattage, or the Gigmaster 35 if you want to take it out on a gig where you're going to need 35 to 40 watts. So this is Johnny Hiland saying I love Fat Jimmy amps. You guys too can get your own Gigmaster 35 or Gigmaster 20. All you have to do is contact my buddy Cliff Coltrari at destroyallguitars.com. Tell him Johnny Hiland sent you, and I know he'll treat you right. God bless y'all, and thanks so much for watching. Cheers.